In order to subsist, you need to gather materials and learn how to successfully transform them into household objects, weapons, and armor. Crafting games usually include traits from exploration and survival genres, and the outcome is often a complex amalgam where you need to prove how good of a manager you are when it comes to obtaining blueprints, recipes, and supplies. In the list that follows, you'll find some of the titles that put an emphasis on crafting, leaving other elements such as role-playing or combat to fall in second place. We also try to include some titles that are maybe not so popular on the market, but deserve a little spotlight nevertheless, so that you can enjoy a bit more variety compared to other similar lists. A plane crash survivor is faced with some of the most life-threatening scenarios, and he must find a way to survive. As the player, you are able to explore various islands from the Pacific reefs and derelict ships in order to find all of the supplies necessary to craft weapons and other useful objects. The resources that you find while wandering around on land or underwater can be harvested and combined in such a way that new items will be formed. Stranded Deep is a game that tests your management skills, since you'll need to ration your supplies and manage your vital needs in order to survive as much as possible. Starbound's universe is a two-dimensional, procedurally generated world where the players are able to explore new areas in order to obtain the resources needed to craft weapons, armor, and other valuable items. There are various crafting stations where you can create a number of objects as long as you have enough materials, most items being available only after finding their blueprint. A variety of elements can be crafted: blocks, armor, weapons, food, tools, and even furniture. A sandbox strategy game that includes elements from Dungeon Keeper, Terraria, and Dwarf Fortress offers a randomly generated map where you control a tribe of dwarves, and by giving them instructions they will dig in certain places, build structures, and fight off enemies. You need to gather materials and craft them into weapons and armor to help you defend yourself from the dangerous creatures that roam freely. The recipes necessary for crafting are easily accessible and very well organised as to offer you the best experience when it comes to creating building blocks, furniture, and food for your brave dwarves. Players are able to control from a first-person view the lone survivor of a futuristic ship that recently crashed on an aquatic planet. In Subnautica, you are tasked with collecting resources, building all kinds of tools, bases, and submersibles with the goal of exploring the environment and following the storyline provided by the game. In creative mode, all of the hunger, thirst, health, and oxygen features are eliminated, so the player is able to concentrate mainly on crafting. All of the blueprints are at hand, so all you need to do is gather the necessary resources and start building all kinds of devices. A spaceman who crashed on an alien planet has to harvest resources by hand in order to build a mechanized infrastructure that will help him create a rocket and send a satellite into space. The player must continually search for and collect the useful materials that will help construct more and more sophisticated machines that will automate the gathering and crafting processes. He also has to survive and fight off the hostile fauna that inhabits the alien planet. Factorio is an extremely appreciated crafted game, even though it's still in the early access stage, has quite an impressive and dedicated following. Besides the heavy survival elements, Don't Starve also offers in-depth crafting opportunities. During the day, the player taking control of Wilson and later on other characters must explore the area and search for fire, wood, as well as other materials that will prove to be useful when wanting to craft weapons and crazy contraptions. Housing can also be built to shelter you during the nights when all kinds of dangerous enemies are lurking in the shadows. With the Tim Burton films-inspired visual design and gameplay elements inspired by Minecraft, Don't Starve is a beautifully dark crafting game title. Terraria is a 2D action-adventure sandbox that features gameplay elements of crafting, construction, exploration, and even combat. In the beginning, the player is equipped with 3 basic tools: a pickaxe for mining, a short sword for combat, and an axe for woodcutting. Some resources and most of the items can be found only in certain parts of the map, or are dropped by enemies. To be able to build an object, you'll need to use the designated materials at the corresponding crafting station. For example, doors can be built at a workbench and iron bars can be smelted from ore at a furnace. Set in an open world, 7 Days to Die is a survival horror video game where the player is a survivor of a third nuclear war, and he must scavenge for supplies and craft weapons to fend off the hordes of zombies that get more and more aggressive as the days go by. The gameplay includes features that allow the player to craft, manipulate and destroy various objects, as well as a physics system in where the pillars and walls built with no supports can collapse. Since the weapons and household objects degrade through use, the necessity to scavenge for materials and build new ones is yet another task that needs to be completed in this dire survival game. A multiplayer-only survival game, Rust was initially created as a DayZ replica with the addition of crafting elements. The player starts off alone in the wilderness equipped only with a rock that will help him cut wood and break apart stones, and a torch that will prove useful when defending from bears and wolves, not to mention having some light during nighttime. It is possible to join other players from clans and go on to raids together, but you could also be facing the other end of the sharp stick if they are out for blood. Materials such as cloth, wood, metal ore, sulfur and stone can be gathered and used immediately to build vital items. In Minecraft, the player is placed in a procedurally generated and virtually infinite game world where, armed with nothing but his fists, he must start a new life. You begin by punching trees and obtaining logs which can later be transformed into wood. Then by combining 4 blocks of wood, you can create a crafting table where you'll be able to build pretty much everything in the game as long as you gather the correct materials. Tools such as axes, shovels or pickaxes and even weapons and armor should be your first priority. Minecraft is the absolute example of a successful sandbox exploration title that encompasses a myriad of items to craft, the possibility to build whatever you want, all in a virtually endless environment. This was our list highlighting the best crafting games on the market, and we hope you've enjoyed our video. If you did, please press that like button as we do appreciate it and it helps us immensely. We often ask our audience for suggestions to compile these lists, and if you'd like to contribute, please follow Frag Hero on Facebook. You can also post other games that you've enjoyed in the comments below because we do try to read pretty much everything. Now would also be a great time to encourage you to subscribe because we upload new stuff all of the time, so subscribing will keep you up to date with all of our latest videos. You can also check out fraghero.com for more gaming related articles, but until next time, thanks for watching and have a great day.